We're here to cut through the noise, get straight to what matters.
That's the plan.
And today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty vital and honestly, quite shocking for a lot of folks. Just picture this. 1 minute, you're doing your thing, reading, maybe having some coffee the next. Your speech is slurred, you're off balance, maybe your hand just won't work right.
That's stroke. It's sudden, silent, often.
And it doesn't usually give you a do-over. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. A bit strange, even.
Go on.
So what if I told you that something we all think is super healthy, probably sitting in your fruit bowl right now, could actually raise your stroke risk? Especially, as you get older.
We're talking about certain fruits.
Exactly. Fruits.
And it's a connection that, it really catches people off guard. Because for decades, the message has just been fruit is good, period.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack why this happens. We're focusing on these, hidden dangers in everyday foods, things people eat without a second thought.
And it's really about giving you the knowledge, to protect your mind, your memory, your independence, really.
Because your body changes as you age. It just does. And these seemingly harmless foods, they can interact with those changes or with your meds in ways nobody really spells out clearly.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's do it. Where do we start? The mechanism.
Yeah, the core mechanism. It really boils down to potassium, your kidneys, and sometimes medications.
Okay.
So as we get older, especially past 65, our kidneys naturally, they slow down a bit.
Even if you don't have, diagnosed kidney disease.
Exactly. Even without a formal diagnosis, your renal function might be reduced. You wouldn't necessarily know it. And this just makes your body less efficient at getting rid of excess potassium.
And then you add in common medications. I'm thinking ACE inhibitors, ARBs, those diuretics that spare potassium.
Precisely. Those drugs make your body hold onto potassium. So you've got less efficient kidneys and meds telling your body to keep potassium. It's a setup.
A dangerous setup.
A very dangerous setup. Because when that potassium builds up in your blood, what we call hyperkalemia, it can cause real trouble.
Like what kind of trouble?
Well, it can slow your heartbeat right down. It can trigger arrhythmias. Those are irregular heart rhythms. It can actually constrict the tiny blood vessels in your brain.
Wow.
Yeah, leading to sudden jumps or drops in blood pressure, or even, in some cases, brain bleeds, hemorrhagic stroke.
Okay, so let's connect this to specific foods people eat every day. Danger number 1, the classic banana.
Ah, the banana, the golden fruit, right?
Totally. Heart healthy, potassium rich, easy for seniors. Seems perfect.
It was perfect. But that potassium load, for someone over 65, maybe with that kidney slowdown we mentioned, or someone taking lisinopril, that's a common ACE inhibitor.
Yeah, very common.
Too much potassium from bananas, especially eaten regularly, can just silently build up. It becomes potentially a silent killer.
Do you have an example, a story that kind of illustrates this?
I do. Mr. Charles Whitman, a really lovely man, 78, retired school bus driver, very disciplined about his health, or so he thought.
Okay.
Every single night, you had a banana, sometimes with a bit of honey.
Yeah.
He thought it was his smart choice.
Just doing what he thought was right. What was he missing? What was the hidden piece?
He didn't know his kidneys weren't working at 100%. He had stage 2 chronic kidney disease, undiagnosed, mind you. He probably wouldn't have thought much of it anyway, no symptoms.
Right.
And critically, no one ever connected the dots for him between his blood pressure medicine, which retained potassium, and his nightly banana habit.
So what happened?
One morning, his wife found him confused, slurring his words, couldn't move his left side properly.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hospital confirmed it, an ischemic stroke. A clot blocked blood flow to his brain overnight, and his blood work, potassium, was 6.2. That's high. Dangerously high.
And the banana contributed.
The nightly banana, combined with the medication and his reduced kidney function, it created this slow, steady potassium buildup that likely contributed to the conditions for the stroke. He was just devastated. He said, "Doc, no one ever told me a banana could do this to me."
That's heartbreaking. Loss of mobility, speech therapy.
Yeah, partial mobility loss, months of speech therapy, couldn't drive anymore. It was life-changing.
So the takeaway for you listening, what should you be asking?
You need to ask, how are my kidneys really doing? Do I take meds that mess with potassium? Has anyone actually checked my potassium levels lately? Don't assume.
Yeah, don't assume. Okay, moving from the humble banana to maybe the trendier superfood.
Avocados everywhere now, aren't they?
Totally. Avocado toast, smoothies, praised for healthy fats, fiber, antioxidants. Seems like a win-win.
It does, but behind that creamy green goodness, a serious potassium punch.
More than a banana.
Get this, one medium avocado can have nearly 1,000 milligrams of potassium.
Wow. That is more than a banana. A lot more.
Way more. Now, for a young, healthy person, maybe okay. But if you're over 65, maybe have even mild kidney impairment you don't know about. Or you're taking certain meds, like spironolactone, another common one.
Yeah, potassium-sparing diuretic.
Exactly. That much potassium can just overwhelm your system's balance. It's too much for the kidneys to handle efficiently.
Is it just the sheer amount, or does anything else in the avocado, like the fat, affect how it's handled?
It's mostly the sheer volume of potassium. The healthy fats are great for other reasons, but they don't cancel out the potassium load if your kidneys are struggling.
Another story here?
Mrs. Lorraine Keller, 81 years old, retired piano teacher, sharp lady, very independent, took pride in eating well.
Her routine.
Half an avocado on whole grain toast every single morning. She also had high blood pressure, took spironolactone.
And no one warned her about the combo, avocado plus spironolactone.
No one made that connection for her. One afternoon, just stood up from her chair and collapsed.
Oh my goodness.
Her potassium level was 6.7. That's a medical emergency level. Her heart had gone into an irregular rhythm briefly, and she'd actually suffered a TIA, a transient ischemic attack. A mini stroke?
Any permanent damage?
Luckily, no permanent brain damage. But it terrified her. Shook her confidence badly. She said, "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right. I didn't know food could do this."
It really underscores that point.
That what's healthy in general isn't always healthy for you, especially you if you're over 60 on meds like lisinopril, losartan, spironolactone, or even if you just have slightly borderline kidney function tests. You have to be cautious.
Okay, let's shift to the breakfast table staple. Orange juice. It's like the symbol of American health, right? Vitamin C powerhouse.
Definitely has that image, but it's another morning danger zone for some.
How so?
An 8-ounce glass, that's a standard serving. It has over 470 milligrams of potassium.
That's quite a bit.
It's a significant hit, especially first thing. You might be a little dehydrated from sleep, your blood vessels might be naturally a bit more constricted, kidneys might not be at peak performance yet.
And if you've just taken your morning blood pressure meds, like those ACE inhibitors or ARBs again,
you're essentially amplifying the effect. You're potentially causing potassium retention and dealing with the vascular effects of the medication simultaneously. It can lead to sudden blood pressure changes or worse, issues with brain blood vessels.
And it might not happen right away. The danger is maybe a bit delayed.
Exactly. Sometimes the first sign is, well, the stroke itself. There was Mr. Harold Green, 79, retired accountant, very routine-oriented.
It is routine.
Wake up, take his blood pressure pills, sit down with a glass of fresh squeezed OJ every single morning.
Sounds nice. Until
one morning he stood up after breakfast, felt incredibly dizzy, and just fell hard.
Oh, dear.
CT scan showed a mild hemorrhagic stroke, a small bleed in his brain. His potassium was elevated. That, combined with the effects of his medication, it was the trigger.
Did he recover?
He survived, yes, but his balance was never quite the same. He told me, "I never imagined it could knock me off my feet, literally. Just couldn't believe it was the juice."
So we need to rethink juice, even orange juice.
Absolutely challenge the assumption it's always safe. And remember, whole oranges are high too. A medium one has over 230 milligrams of potassium. It all adds up.
Okay, what about snacks? Those little dried fruits people grab? Apricots, raisins, prunes, figs, dates.
Nature's candy, right? Seems harmless, healthy, sweet, convenient.
But
it's that concentration effect again. Drying removes the water, but it concentrates everything else, especially potassium.
how concentrated are we talking?
Get this, just 5 dried apricots can pack over 500 milligrams of potassium. A small handful of raisins, close to 600 milligrams.
That's more than a banana again.
More than a banana, and you barely feel like you've eaten anything, right? It's so easy to munch on a lot of them.
Yeah, you could eat a whole bag without thinking.
Exactly. And you're silently overloading your system.
Yeah.
Especially if your kidneys are compromised or you're on those meds we keep mentioning.
So it's the lack of volume, the lack of feeling full that makes them extra sneaky.
That's a big part of it. It's primarily the water removal, concentrating the potassium. I remember Mrs. Marlene Fitzgerald, 84, retired librarian,
What was her story?
came in complaining of just feeling dizzy, fuzzy-headed. She kept saying, "Oh, it's just part of getting older."
Dismissing it.
Totally. Until she nearly fainted one morning while out for a walk. Her daughter insisted she come in. Labs showed elevated potassium and, importantly, some early subtle changes in her heart rhythm.
And the cause.
She'd started snacking on dried figs and dates every afternoon. Read an article about natural energy boosters for seniors.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. She had what we called a near-miss arrhythmia. Her heart rhythm almost became dangerously unstable. Her brain was temporarily starved of good blood flow. She was quite shaken, said, "I just wanted something natural. No one ever told me fruit could hurt me."
They really do hide behind that healthy label sometimes.
They absolutely can, quietly tipping the balance towards a medical crisis.
Okay, one more danger to cover. This one's marketed really heavily now. Coconut water, nature's Gatorade.
Right. Promoted for hydration, electrolytes, heart health, energy. It sounds amazing.
But it's a hidden threat.
For certain people, yes. It's a prime example. An 11-ounce container, pretty standard size, can easily have 600 milligrams of potassium, sometimes more.
That's a huge dose.
It is. And for someone over 65, maybe on blood pressure meds, maybe with kidneys that aren't working perfectly, that amount can be just too much, too fast.
So it's not just water with flavor.
Not at all. It hits your system quickly, changes your electrolyte balance, affects blood pressure regulation. It can cause sudden drops in blood pressure, dizziness, electrical instability in the heart even.
And this happened to someone, Mr. Frank Delgado.
Precisely. Frank, 76, retired electrician.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Read that coconut water was heart healthy, so he swapped his morning coffee for it.
Like,
Thought he was making a brilliant health move.
Yeah.
But he was also on blood pressure med. And he had early stage kidney disease, which he knew about, but maybe didn't fully grasp the implications of.
how long did it take?
Just a week. A week of daily coconut water. He fainted while gardening one afternoon.
Fainted.
Yeah. In the ER, potassium 6.5, heart rhythm irregular, blood pressure dangerously low. And an MRI actually showed evidence of transient ischemia in his brain, basically a near stroke. The coconut water pushed him over the edge.
Wow. What did he say?
His words captured it perfectly. "No one told me a drink could do this. I thought I was being healthy."
It really highlights if you're over 65 on meds, have kidney issues. Coconut water isn't just water.
It's a powerful electrolyte drink.
Right.
And your body might not handle it safely anymore, period.
Okay, wow. So after hearing all that bananas, avocados, OJ, dried fruit, coconut water, it's easy to feel, I don't know, a bit scared. Like, what can you eat?
It can definitely feel overwhelming. I get that.
But there's hope here, right? There are fruits that are safe, that nourish without overloading the system.
Absolutely. There's definitely hope. And there are good choices. It's about finding the right choices for your body now. We saw this with Mrs. Carol Jennings, 73, retired school principal.
What was her situation?
She came to me just frustrated, said she was doing everything right, eating lots of those high-potassium fruits, taking supplements people recommended, yet her blood pressure was climbing. She felt dizzy, had this constant brain fog.
She's trying so hard.
So hard. I eat fruit, I walk, I'm doing what they say. But no one had explained that her healthy diet, packed with potassium, was actually overwhelming her aging kidneys. It was causing blood pressure spikes, contributing to the dizziness and fog she was trying to fix.
Paradoxical. So what did you change? How did you turn things around for her?
We simplified, radically simplified. No more handfuls of supplements, no more giant fruit smoothies packed with high potassium stuff. We went back to basics.
Like what?
Nature's real medicine in the right amounts. So mornings became maybe a hard-boiled egg, a slice of whole grain toast, half an apple, and crucially, a small handful of blueberries.
With water. Blueberries. Okay.
Or maybe strawberries the next day.
Ah.
Or some black grapes. All lower in potassium, high in antioxidants, gentle on the kidneys, good for blood vessels.
And the result.
Within just 3 weeks, her energy bounced back, the dizziness gone, blood pressure stabilized beautifully, her confidence just soared. She looked me right in the eye and said, "Doctor, for the first time in months, I feel steady again."
That's fantastic. That really shows the power of making the right adjustments. So let's list them out for our listeners. What are these brain-safe fruits they can feel good about?
Okay, top of the list. Blueberries. Amazing antioxidants, really protective for those tiny brain blood vessels.
You know, what else?
Strawberries, great for reducing inflammation, which helps with cognitive clarity. Apples, they have that good soluble fiber, help regulate blood sugar and cholesterol, gentle on the kidneys.
Apples are always a solid choice.
They are. Grapes, in moderation, are good too. Help with circulation, fight oxidative stress. Pineapple fresh, unsweetened, gives you vitamin C without that potassium overload.
Nice. And pears.
Pears, often overlooked. Great for hydration, good fiber, really easy on the digestive system.
These are safer choices.
Much safer choices, generally speaking, for older adults concerned about potassium. But remember, it's not magic. It's best combined with good hydration, staying active, and really importantly, managing your medications mindfully with your doctor.
Right. It's the whole picture. Okay, wrapping this up. This deep dive, it's really for you listening if you're serious about protecting your mind, your independence, your future. Because the cost of getting this wrong, it isn't just feeling off for a day. It could be a fall, a stroke, a hospital stay, a life totally changed in an instant.
That's exactly it. Those small daily choices we make, often with the best intentions, they can have devastating consequences simply because age changes things.
How your kidneys filter.
How your blood vessels react.
How your brain handles pressure.
Exactly. At 30, your body just adapts, bounces back. At 70, it sends warning signals. But only if you know how to listen.
So awareness is key, not more supplements necessarily.
Awareness is your most powerful medicine here. Knowing your body, knowing your risks.
So the call to action for everyone listening.
Take a real look at what's in your kitchen. Read the labels. Check that potassium content, especially on processed foods or drinks.
And talk to your doctor.
Yes. Ask specifically, what are my potassium levels? How's my kidney function really? And how do my current medications interact with potassium from food? Be direct.
And listen to your body.
Crucially, that dizziness, that heart flutter, that brain fog you keep dismissing, don't just write it off as getting older. It might be a warning sign trying to get your attention.
Because the most dangerous thing
is what we assume is safe, without question. Protecting your brain isn't about living in fear. It's about having the power, the knowledge to make wise choices before something irreversible happens.
Your greatest medicine is knowledge applied.
And it starts tomorrow morning at your breakfast table. Choose wisely,